Hey, patrol members, and welcome back to another episode of Tales and Mysteries of the Mojave Patrol. And I'm still working on the secret underground tunnels with a hidden civilization. I read a whole big story about it last year, and now for the life of me, I cannot find it again. Pardon me. Probably the government had to take it down. Who knows, you know. They don't like competition when it comes to stuff like that. So tonight we're going to talk about Yucca Man. I got a really good story about Yucca Man that I recently read. Happened in 1973. But first, we have a Hoya del Jefe Centennial Reserve cigar right here. And we have Southern Comfort for tonight's whiskey. And I've never had it. Never had it. And I have a shot glass from Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta. So first off, let's pierce this cigar. I'm going to pierce it because it's really dry and I don't want to ruin it. California and the Mojave Desert have a large history, or a long history, of unexplained cryptid type creatures and mysterious events, and holy cow, you name it. I myself have experienced a couple of them, which I'll go into on later in the month. I told the story last month, but you know, bears repeating because not everybody who was here this year was here last year. Anyway, let's light this up. One of my new ashtrays. Pretty cool, huh? I'm sure I can make a trash can tonight. Oh, and the crowd goes wild. Yep, I made it. Pardon me. Hoya del Jefe. Centennial Reserve, 1890. Heterolimano. It's a really mild cigar. Where was I? California has a huge variety of different cryptids. All kinds of strange creatures, from the jackalope to the cactus head. You name it, we got it, right? But tonight, we're going to talk about Yucca Man. Yucca Man is a large hominid, supposedly, that lives in the Mojave Desert. And I'm talking about a wide range of desert, from Arizona all the way up to Utah and past Death Valley and Nevada and big New Mexico. Huge range. He's a Bigfoot-like creature, but he's not Bigfoot. He's not as big. Most of the people who have seen Yucca Man claim that he's just a little over 6 feet tall, between 6 foot and 7 foot, 6'5", sort of a normal size. And there are precious few photographs. I'm going to put some photographs in here while I'm talking. But at least 2 of them I don't think are real. Plus, I have a short piece of video that shows him walking through the brush of Joshua Tree. Right? And I will put that up here at some point. Many people camping in Joshua Tree have heard the stealthy footprints of a large creature walking around their tents at night. Some people were so scared, they've never camped there again. That brings me to the Kelly family. Very similar to the family of Rob and Susie. But this story is told by the daughter. In 1973, they were living in, I think, Michigan. And around Christmas vacation, they got pretty much sick and tired of 10 feet of snow, got to wear everything in your closet to go outside, being cooped up in the house because it is flat flipping cold in Michigan in the middle of winter. So the father had between Christmas Eve and New Year's Day off. And what better thing to do than to visit Palm Springs? So they packed the family up, took an airplane into Los Angeles, flew from Los Angeles to Palm Springs, where they could enjoy 75-degree days, 50-degree nights, much better than the frigid winters of Michigan. Well, they went and saw all the sights of celebrity houses and so on and so forth. So the dad decided to rent a car, and they were going to drive through Joshua Tree, which isn't too far from Palm Springs, 20 minutes, half hour, tops, And, well, needless to say, that's when their adventure begins. But before that adventure, let's try out this Southern Comfort, huh? Oh. And by the way, Jack, I had people tell me that they could see your thought bubbles up here during the video. Now, that must be a pretty darn good camera to see your thought bubbles. I didn't see anything. So let's just watch it. Watch it. All right? Don't be snarky. Everybody said you were snarky. Okay. Southern Comfort. Established 1874. Original. The Spirit of Nolans. M.W. Heron. New Orleans. 70 proof. Spirit whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. Huh. None genuine but mine. In 1874, M.W. Heron took harsh whiskey of the time and mixed them with his own blend of fruit and spices to create a whiskey that could be enjoyed comfortably. Since then, Southern Comfort has been spreading the soulful and vibrant spirit of Nolans. Reimported by the Sazerac Company, New Orleans, Louisiana. Reimported from where? Anyway, let's get down to business, the important stuff. According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. Oh my God, we don't want birth defects, do we? Oh no. No. I'm not looking at you, Jack. Not you. Birth defects. Consumption of alcoholic beverages impairs your ability to drive a car or operate machinery. You don't want to do that. You don't want to operate machinery or drive a car if you're impaired by this stuff. That could happen. No, you don't want that to happen. And may cause health problems. I'm afraid to look. I'm afraid to look. No, 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 I don't want those health problems. No, 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 no. God forbid. Shh. You already look like you got some health problems. I don't know, but I don't think pumpkins are supposed to last as many years as you have. Especially carved ones. And remember, folks, only the finest whiskeys have a screw cap. Are we ready? Ooh, nice crackle. Well, I can smell some kind of spice. Doesn't smell bad. Lana. Let's pour us a touch. It's got nice finger grooves here in case you touch too much. That has got a nice color to it, doesn't it? Not some of that Bourbon Street smell. Just a little bit of red beans and rice. Maybe some shrimp jambalaya. And I think I can smell a little crossover here. I think there's a little shrimp a la Diablo in here. If you've never had that, you got to try it. If you've never had shrimp jambalaya, you got to try that. If you've never had shrimp gumbo, you got to try that. Little bit of maybe some beignets coming through there. Oh. Well, let's give it a shot. So the ghosts and ghouls and things that go bump in the night. I can't really say that I've ever had this before. What's this piece of tape stuck to the bottom of this thing? Get out of there. Oh, just a piece of tape, too. Oh, this is only 70 proof, but I tell you what, this can be dangerous. This might go camping with me when I... Oh, yes, and that's another thing coming up. Camping trip out to the Mojave Desert next week. You're not going to see any videos next week. The week after next. Wow. That's good sipper, but you don't want to drink that too fast. So the Kellys got to Palm Springs. And they rented a car to drive up through Joshua Tree National Park. Well, it takes a good while to drive the whole loop through Joshua Tree. And I don't know what it was like back in the 70s because I didn't go there until the 90s. But I can tell you right now that it is a long drive. Anyway, according to, I think her name was Elizabeth, halfway through the drive, her younger brother, well, he heard the call of nature. And they had to pull over. So, being a modest lad who had never done anything like that before, his dad says, now you step around the back side of the car and open the door so people coming from behind you can't see you, and you just do your business, and we're going to walk across the street and look at the yucca trees out there. Well, they went out to look at the Joshua trees. Some people call them yucca trees, and the yucca plants, which are very strange and mysterious plants if you're from the East Coast or the... Oh, excuse me. Oh, my God. That Southern Comfort is barking at me. Whew. Anyway, they walk across the street. And while they're looking at the large boulders in the desert and the strange plants, the younger brother finally catches up with them. And while they're looking at things, the little boy looks up to a large jumble of stones. And I mean, they're big stones, right? They're probably 75, 80 feet tall. And at the very top of this jumble of stones are two large boulders with a V in between them, right? And he's marveling that the sun is starting to set right behind that, right? Starting to go down. Well, the mom is looking up ahead, and she sees something ducked behind a large boulder on the ground, and she says, "What's that?" And the dad and the rest of the family, well, we don't see anything. Well, the mom wants to go up and check. So Elizabeth said they all walked up to the boulder, and they were walking around the right side to check. And she was fully expecting to see a coyote or a fox or some other kind of desert creature, and there was nothing there. Well, as they turn to go back, the father looks up, and now he sees what looks to be like a man standing up between the two boulders on the outcropping. And he's got one arm in each boulder, and he's got his legs apart, and he's looking down on them. Well, they're transfixed. Here's the creature standing up there, he said about 6.5 feet tall, covered with tan fur, had a couple of darker, browner spots on it. It had a man-like face, but not really a man's face, and he says it wasn't really an ape's face. This is what Elizabeth said. So it is staring at them, and they're staring at it. So suddenly, they hear a vocalization. They hear this. Ah! Yet the man on the boulder, or the creature on the boulder, did not speak it. He stood there, still and immobile, staring at them. The creature turned its head, looking over his shoulder, and went, "Oh!" and looked back at the family. Well, the father said, "Oh my God, there's more than one of them." I'm having a camera glitch. Can you hang on? I have an overheated camera. I'm going to have to turn it off. Let's just hope you don't overheat. Anyway, They start walking back to the car, and they're walking pretty quick. But it's really soft sand, and, you know, they're going as quick as they can. And Elizabeth looks over her shoulder, and suddenly, 20 feet behind him is the creature. It has come down off the rocks and has caught up with them, and is standing about 20 yards behind them. Well, they accelerate their pace. They get back to the car, all jump inside, and by the time they get in the car and they look, the thing is just on the other side of the road. Right? How wide is the road? 25, 30 feet wide, you know, accommodate two automobiles passing each other? So they're sitting there looking at it, and it is looking at them. And the father looks ahead of them, and there's a car coming in the opposite direction. He starts his car. The second his car starts, the creature on the other side of the road charges their car. He hits the gas, and the car coming from the other direction slams on the brake and swerves almost off the road, trying to avoid the giant creature that has run in front of it. Apparently there were other people who saw it too, but no one has ever made a statement about that, at least that I could find. And he floors it. Elizabeth looks out the back window and yells, "It's chasing us!" And it was running as fast as it could behind the car. Well, eventually they pick up speed and leave the creature behind, and she said she will never forget looking out that back window and seeing that thing disappear into the distance. Well, when they got to the gate at the other side, of course, he stops the car and they all go into the ranger station and tell them what they've seen. The ranger tells them to calm down, and he says, because they want to know what kind of creatures are out there. And the ranger goes, "Look, I don't know what you saw. Other people have reported seeing things like that also. But I haven't ever seen anything, and none of the other people in our department have seen anything. So you might not have been seeing what you thought you were seeing," and just passed it off. Well, they got back in the car and they finished their vacation, got on a plane, flew home. But Elizabeth said she has never forgotten that. Now, she would be a little bit younger than me because in 1973 I was graduating high school and she was like 15 or 16, so she's probably a couple years younger than me. Maybe 3, maybe the age of my wife. But anyhow, yeah. So, Yucca Man. Real or not? Remember, a lot of these things are seen by level-headed people. Doctors, lawyers, military officers, regular, everyday people who have nothing to gain by fabricating a story about some strange creature or flying saucer, sea serpent-like thing. Do you know that a plesiosaur was seen by a bath escape? The two men were in the Alvin, and they saw a plesiosaur on one of their descents. At least one of the pilots of the Alvin saw it. And I tend to believe him, because this is the man who invented the thing and also dove the Titanic with Bob Ballard. He was one of Ballard's go-to guys to go down to the Titanic in a bathysphere. An engineer and scientist. And he said that he was really upset when the things he put in the Alvin's logbook had been removed by the government. It's pretty sad. I'm going to have another touch. Well, I spill it all over the table, right? I should drop and give you 20 push-ups for spilling that. Anywho's this Yucca Man, like I said, real imagination, something other than what people claim to have seen, is it? I don't know. That was a weird statement. You must be thinking really snarky crap right now. You know, hey, why don't I pour a shot of this into you and see if you can speak properly 100% of the time? Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm still going to try to find out information about subterranean city in Northern California by Mount Shasta. It's a really bizarre story. So, next week I'm going to give you a UFO story. And I have another great whiskey. And then we're going to the desert to go exploring. So we'll see how good that is. So like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Share this with your friends. You know? Who knows what you'll see. But as for now, later, mater.